Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It's Sunday, a special start time, 2 o'clock today for our friends across the pond, our other aspect of family. Miss Lindsey Jordan, welcome you
Oh,
her in from Contract Pro Wrestling out
yeah.
of the UK. Miss Lindsey, welcome in. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great today. How are you doing?
Man, I am great. I am great. So today we're gonna get to know you guys. Okay, so let's start from the top, man. Tell us what got you, Miss Lindsey Jordan, into professional wrestling.
That is a story and a half. I got together with my partner Brian Backside, Brian Creed, back in 2016. It was actually our 8 year anniversary yesterday. He had been wrestling for about 18 years at the time. So he's done all sorts. So he's wrestled the likes of Sheamus and Christian and D'Lo Brown, Vito and Raven. So he'd been on the scene for quite some time. And then we'd been together about a year, and my mum passed away. So it was a case of right, okay, well, we need to start focusing on what's important, because I think we were just doing the day to day thing that you do.
Yeah,
Um, and then we decided, right, okay, let's do it. So I had said to him, I was like, what have you always wanted to do? And he was like, um, probably train people to wrestle, like to make things better in the scene in the Northeast, up in the UK. So I was like, okay. So 5 weeks later, we started our wrestling academy. We started with a crash mat, 4 jigsaw mats, and some cones. That's literally what we started with back in 2017. And it's just taken off from there. So we started doing the promotion. So Contract Pro Wrestling came about in 2018. We took over a gym in 2019. Obviously, COVID hit, which put a stop to everything. And then again, just picked it up from there. So as soon as lockdown was released, we were one of the first companies in this area to start doing shows again. And we had to like space the guys out. I don't know what it was like with you guys. We had to like have four, whatever the family was, if it was 4 or 5, we had to have their chairs together and then a space, and then their chairs together and then a space. And then, yeah, so, and last year, I reached out with, had a conversation with Bobby, with Soulmania, with Soul, about Soulmania and other bits and pieces, and I'd come across to join us in Newcastle, and we had some adventures here, and then it was like, right, let's
man.
let's move.
They traveled over to UK to y'all first, and the guys came back and just spoke highly of the whole
Oh,
atmosphere. That was taken in over there. And then y'all come here. So when y'all come over here, explain to us the atmosphere, because the cultures are two different cultures, right?
oh,
And,
yeah.
I'm sure everything was different. So explain what you took in from coming over here.
It was so the cultures are very, very different. Even the wrestling culture and the wrestling scene is very different, but there's quite a lot that's quite similar. So Texas won my heart. I'm a small town girl. I don't like the big city. Um I just like the feel of small towns. So we stayed in Carrollton, which was amazing. And everybody was so friendly and everybody was so welcoming. And again, we knew quite a few of the guys, obviously from online interactions and from the guys that came over to us last year. And I think that helped us to build that relationship with everybody else as well. So when we came in and we walked into the locker room, it was like we'd always been there. It was great. Everybody was shaking hands and hugs. I'm a hugger. I never used to be, but I am now. So it was like hugging everybody, as you saw. Like you got it as well. But yeah, so for two different worlds, polar opposites, it was there was so much that was the same, and it felt like home, which is really difficult. And I had put a post up about that just after, I think it was just after I left, and I had said it's a cold business sometimes, wrestling, and especially because you're moving around a lot, you don't get to build those relationships with people a lot of the time.
Right.
So when you find somewhere that has the same values as you and the same like-mindedness, where they welcome you, it's incredible. And that's exactly what we got when we came over. Was everybody was so friendly and welcoming, and it was like just the whole buzz around the show. And even the guys that weren't working, they were there, but they were like talking to us and coming across and just starting up conversations. And yeah, it was phenomenal. It was one of those experiences that like totally took my heart as well. So yeah, it was
See, and that's the thing. There's a lot of wrestling companies around. Okay, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot. There are a lot of wrestling companies around, and some good, some not so good. We call them mud shows. Okay, the ones that are not so good. That's just what we do. I mean, I've been doing that for years. That's how I've done it. I call it as I see it. Never, Mom always told me, say what's on your mind. Good or bad, say it. That's what God gave it to you for. So, but and I see a lot of great wrestling companies and a lot of great production and things, but the atmosphere with the OIWA is just something totally different. And I'm not sure how to explain that to our followers and our watchers and things like that. Um, it's just a totally different feel for pro wrestling, man. There's the old school version, and some of the advanced guys, and all this comes together, and Bobby and Jason and Denise and Jessica just create something totally different for everybody around them. And it's hard to explain how they do it. It's like a masterpiece sitting back and watching it unfold. And it has been for me for the last 6 years that I have been with these guys. I can tell you from experience that there's a lot of bad mouths out there, and there's a lot of mouths that don't talk so bad. Then there are the guys like Bobby and the rest of the group, Jason and Denise, Jessica, Dante, always building people up.
yeah.
Never giving them the easy way out, always building them up. Hi, Leah. Good to see you and welcome in, sweetheart. Uh, this is Miss Lindsey Jordan from Contract Pro Wrestling, by the way. Uh, but as far as the atmosphere, what, and it's hard to probably ask this question, y'all's atmosphere compared to ours. Give me the two.
We're very similar. We So again, I know exactly what you're saying about the mud shows, and there has been times where I've been in locker rooms like that where it's nobody's really interested. They're there for themselves. There's little cliques in different corners, and it doesn't quite feel like you belong.
Yeah.
We always try and make sure that we keep everybody in the loop and we work together. And don't get me wrong, like there's times where we've messed up and we've grown from it. So I think everything in wrestling's learning, and if you ever stop learning, then there's something wrong. And the locker room is exactly the same. I had a conversation with Dante when he was over, and he said like all they ever ask for is a happy locker room, and if people don't fit and don't gel and they upset that locker room, you feel it, and I get that 100%. And we've had that where we've had someone that we had trained, but that wasn't gelling in the locker room,
Mm-hmm.
and it does make an impact. So it's making sure that there's that balance of keeping everybody happy, having a lot of fun while you're doing it, and just making everybody feel comfortable. So that's what we try and have here as well. So I would hope, it would always be my hope that if anybody comes to us and is working for us, that they feel the way that I felt when I was at Soul. So fingers crossed.
Hey,
What we're trying to
y'all are
do.
doing great. Y'all all your social media is blowing up. Yeah, I know in the last year, y'all have really exploded onto the wrestling scene, especially over there.
Yeah.
Now you've come across the pond to the United States and brought your product here. And man, I was impressed. I was thoroughly impressed with your guys. Uh, I want to say this: the Bumps and Bruises squad, man, did not quite come out on top like they were hoping to, but your guys prevented that from happening. And I mean, sent them back to the locker room, all five of them. Y'all didn't lose a match one, I don't think. I was very, very impressed with every one of your guys. And I was like, wow, we pride ourselves on big time wrestling. We do, especially at the OIWA. Speaking of big time wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a professional wrestler, I encourage you to go find a creditable school. A creditable school being trainers that actually understand, know, and get what they're doing. And that's hard to find. The OIWA has several of those right now. One in 469, Carrollton, Texas, and the Bumps and Bruises squad over there. The Bumps and Bruises over here in Arkansas, in Sherwood, at the 501. Do y'all have a wrestling school?
We
Tell us
do.
about it.
So our wrestling school is Contract Wrestling Academy. We have trained some phenomenal talent, which you guys saw when we came over. So we've got Alex Andrews, who's our current Grand Slam champion. We've got X-Jack. We've got Thomas Griffin, who's the CWA champion. We've got Archon. And that all, they've all trained up underneath Brian. So Brian's the lead coach. I do quite a lot of the sort of the mentoring and things with regards to doing promos, and I'm probably a little bit more strict than Brian is with things. Like if
Yeah.
they're not getting their roles right, I'll tell them off for that and things like. I nitpick quite a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we are based in Bedlington in Northumberland, and we run a beginner's session every Tuesday, and our advanced session is every Wednesday. And unless we've got a show or a different event where we're traveling, we tend to have training on a Saturday as well. So
Yeah.
we work quite a bit.
That's really good. See, now there's another credible school. If you're in the UK, go check out Contract Pro Wrestling Academy. Reach out to Miss Lindsey Jordan. She will hook you up, guys. I promise you, right over there. Take care of you. Their guys are top notch as far as what I seen, and Bobby and Jason seen those things as well. That's the reason why they were brought to the United States.
Yeah.
Just the bottom line on that, I can tell you that right now. Bobby and Jason have an eye for talent, and that was really really a big move for those guys, and it's already showing.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a pro wrestler, man, I encourage you to go get into a credible, very credible training school. Uh, like I said, Contract Pro Wrestling Academy over in the UK, over here in Dallas, Texas, and over here in Sherwood, Arkansas. Guys, go check them out. Check them out on all their social media, Bumps and Bruises, Contract Pro, and get hooked up today. Now, I'm waiting for the big guy to show his face.
Brian,
Yes.
you're gonna come through. Doesn't do social appearances, you say. Brian Creed.
Yes. Looky there. Look at that boy. Ah.
How do?
How you doing, Brian?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, man. I'm good, brother. How you feeling today, man?
Yeah, not so bad, not so bad.
That's
Usual-
good.
usual things,
So let me ask, are you the head trainer at Contract Pro?
Yes, indeed.
You are.
Mhm.
And man, I can tell by watching your guys, Brian, that a lot of the aspects that you teach as far as pro wrestling are right there in their feet. Okay, I
Absolutely.
can see that, man. I've seen you wrestle, and I was like, I watched the guys wrestle, and I was like, wow, I see a lot of those, and I see a lot of him in those. I see a lot of those in him. I was like, yeah, that's a family right there. I like this.
Absolutely.
And the littlest guy on the bench, that's the one that impressed me the most. What's his name?
Thomas Griffin.
Thomas, yeah.
Yes,
Thomas Griffin.
yes, yes. He impressed me the most. I walked up to him. I was like, dude, I like you. I was like, it's something's gonna happen with you one day, man. I like you, dude. And he showed it, man. He was really, really, yes, I know. I crossed my fingers for him too. You're doing a good job with those guys over there, Brian. Hey, man, keep up doing that hard work, brother.
Indeed,
You're doing a great job with them, and it shows, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, what got you into pro wrestling, Brian?
Me, when I was 12 years old, just before school one day, we had just getting satellite television, or like one of the few people in the area that had it, because I'm from a council estate, not a vast amount of money flowing through the area. And there was a episode of WWF Superstars on before school, and it was the Hart Foundation against a couple of job guys, and just that 3-minute tag match.
Yep.
I was just like, I want to do that. That's never. Yeah, never left.
Never left, huh?
Yeah. I never thought I'd get the chance. There wasn't anything yet.
Right. Yeah. So when I was real young, I went to CrossFit Arkansas to take into a wrestling show, and that was when the first time I met Robert Gibson and Ricky Moore, which was the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah.
I was 11, 12, 13, somewhere around that area, and they were outside throwing the football. Okay, so I walked out. I was like, "Can I throw with you guys?" And they were like, "Yeah." So we threw the football for a while. And then Robert was like, "What are your plans for when you get older?" I was like, "I'd like to be you." He was like, "No, you don't want to be me." He said, "You want to be you, but you would like to do this, wouldn't you?" And I was like, "Man, I would love to do this." And then when I watched the show, and it just ensued that much more. Those old school guys, dude, that you were able to take in, that there's something totally different about them. They're just totally different, and I just, and I've been around it ever since, so, but yeah, are you growing, Brian? Are you growing? Are your guys growing? And what I mean by that, are you pulling in more guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, that's what I mean by growing. Are you pulling them in?
Yeah.
Okay, good, man.
That was some sort of slightly. It wouldn't be the first one.
Right.
We were just talking about diets before, actually. We were just talking about diets before.
Yeah. Man, all right. Okay, so now let me ask this: after the U.S. has come there to y'all, Brian, and y'all come over, how much growth do you see happening with you guys for the next year?
There's been a lot of interest, hasn't there, since obviously what's gone on so far. So the sky's the limit, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the same thing we've always said. Again, it's what you put into it, and there's not really a lot of let up with us. So.
Yeah, and we've changed a lot, and we've grown a lot since meeting Bobby, and it's something that I've said to him myself. I literally just said it to him last night. Like, we have so much to be grateful to him for, because of what he has. Hi, Jordan. Because of what he's brought to us. So when someone comes into your life like Bobby, and he just, I don't know, there's just a magic about him that it's just created something in us. So that drive for us has just gone higher and higher. Where we are now, we've sat and said, right, okay, where do we want to be? Where do we want our guys to be? Where do our guys want to be? So we were just sort of not plodding, but we were going as we were.
Whereas we weren't pushing as much.
Yeah. Whereas now the focus, because of Bobby and the inspiration that he's given us, the focus for us has just gone, let's do it. Let's do it.
Right.
We've got one life. Why not just give something a try? So
Yeah.
because of that, we've started booking in more guys who do seminars. We've got EC. I had a seminar with Dante a few weeks ago. We've got EC3 booked in on the 9th of April. We've got someone else booked in coming in May that we're going to release soon. We've got. I held it well.
I'm horrible with secrets.
I'm really bad with secrets. I get too excited. I get really excited, and then I just go, oh.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask both of you this because I'm sure you have a different outlook on this question. Okay, so Java Sessions, and they're one of the Second Row Podcast sponsors. Okay, they asked, what has been one of your biggest challenges in building your organization?
From my standpoint, it is raising awareness that what we do isn't just about the wrestling, and getting people to understand it. So I think I mentioned earlier, we're from quite a small town, and it's a lovely town, and it's so quiet, but nobody understands what we do. So we've had this facility at Bedlington Station now since 2019, doing this, and everybody's like, "Oh, I didn't realise you were there." So for us, it's raising the awareness of what we're doing, the positive impact that we have, and the positive impact that we can have on the lives of others outside of this. From a standpoint of building the organisation up, sometimes some of the challenges that we face, which I'm sure you guys have had over there as well, is the wrestling scene can sometimes be diluted with people that shouldn't be there. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way at all, but there are times when we're talking about reputable schools, we always say make sure that whoever you're going to is training you to the best of their ability. So you were certified as a trainer, weren't you, by
Johnny Moss.
And when was that?
Long time ago.
Yeah, so Brian was certified as a trainer years and years ago by Johnny Moss. Things like that, and people who are out there are doing the product a service. We've got some incredible training schools nearby, working with guys who have been in the scene for a long time, and they're phenomenal, and the output on talent is great. And when we first started, it was a little bit haphazard.
Yeah, it's a case of if those that can should. It's not enough to just want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to actually be able to, because at the end of the day, you have got someone else's life in your hands. You cannot just play around with that. Yeah. You've got to be able to do the job.
And that is quite controversial to say. And again, like we have made mistakes, and we know that we have.
No one's infallible.
We're learning from all the time.
Yep, that's how you learn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody's going to make mistakes, and that's part of life. That's why we're here. I mean, none of us are perfect. There's not but one perfect one, right? There ain't but one, and it's not us. But it's hard, and I'm sure building from ground up, especially if you started with just a crash pad, right? From building from ground up to where you're at now, tell us about the growth, because you guys are making splashes and waves, and you're still small, okay? And those splashes and those waves that you're making are just carrying you on out across the Pacific, okay? So you guys are really bringing a lot to the table where professional wrestling is concerned. For me, I'm just ecstatic to have you guys on board, man. I mean, seriously, because y'all bring a lot to the table. And the traverseness between American pro wrestling and the UK pro wrestling is probably not that much different compared to the athletes, the characters, and the build of both of those.
Yeah.
And that is something that I love watching. So I look for big things from you guys. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take for you to get there. Just have patience. That's going to be the biggest thing. I'm sure y'all been patient as hell up to this point, and then all of a sudden SOAR is on top of you, and y'all are like, wait a minute, things are changing. things are starting to happen, and then where does your mindset go?
Yeah. It's exactly it. Like, I'm not a patient person.
I was going to say,
I'm not. Like, so
I have patience.
You do, I don't. I get ideas, and the ideas are, right, okay, I've got this idea here, and this is when it's going to start by. So it's usually sort of, if there's 3 weeks between my idea and it's starting, then there's a problem. Because I just go, no.
I don't think that's a problem at all, though, like, for us. It's like, talking about like growth and where we're going to go. Mm-hmm. It's literally the limitations of what Lindsay thinks we're going to achieve.
Right.
Like, no limit.
There is no limit on that. Like,
he's looking at his face while he says that is just priceless.
Yeah.
Because he's like,
whatever it is she's after, we're gonna get there.
Right.
By hook or by crook,
right.
We'll get there.
Yeah. And Man. I think that is something that is missing, sort of universally, not just in wrestling, but I think a lot of people have their dreams, but they don't always have the over here we would say have the bottle to chase it, but like have the drive to push to get it.
Yeah.
I've always, if I've had an idea, I've gone, right, okay, let's just do it. What have we got to lose? The Comic-Cons. So the Comic-Con started with me messaging the company that I worked for and saying, this is who we are. So we're Contract Wrestling Academy. We're based in Bedlington. This is what we do. Can we pop along? And he was like, I've had a wrestling company before and they were rubbish. Like, you want to come and impress us? And that's what we did. And that was 2019 again. And then, like, I worked with them solidly up until last year when they've changed ownership. And I travelled the country. I was up and down the country. I was interviewing celebrities every week. Like, it was phenomenal. But that was just a case of going, why not? Let's just try it and see what happens.
Right. Now I ask a lot of our the guys that come on as our guests usually, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't want to ask you guys that. I want to ask yourself, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Because I'm going to be honest with you, things are moving quite rapidly for y'all.
Yeah. So the hope is that with the OIWA, we're going to keep growing and building. So myself and Dante and I think Jason are heading over to Germany in April. Yep. We're then heading, myself, Brian and Dante are heading to Portugal in May. And I wanted to get to the point where my guys, as well as me, have got that opportunity to travel at least once a month out of the country. So whether I'm going out of the country and taking 2 different guys every month to different places, that's what I want. And I want it to, the OIWA as it stands is phenomenal. We've got so much reach and so much potential. And we're just unlocking that door, throwing it wide open and saying, let's see where we get. And that's what I want. I want the OIWA, as well as all of the incredible guys that we're already working with, to be able to sit and say, right, okay, we've got this booking in, I don't know, Canada next week. Let's take 2 guys from each company to there and put on a show for them. Great, let's do it. That's what I would really like. That is where my heart is now. And for Bobby more so, I want to make him proud, and I want him to look at what we're doing and going, they've got it right. And him to sit back and not have any worries, because everything's going and everything's pushing and everybody's succeeding, which is exactly what it should be.
Right. So, and with everything that the OIW, man, is just phenomenal. The whole OIWA aspect is just phenomenal. How do you guys feel? And me and still AJ the Future had this chat. How do you guys feel about being international superstars now?
It's amazing.
She said, ding, 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 ding.
No, honestly, it's fantastic because as soon as you can put that on your resume and you can say, I've worked not only in my country, in these states, or for us in my country, in these companies, but I've worked internationally, it opens so many doors for you. And it's just that extra level that will put you, especially if you're an aspiring wrestler who has maybe got a few shows under your belt, you've worked for a few select companies. If you can get linked in with a company that's part of the OIWA, and you can say, this is what I can bring to the table, take me on the journey with you. As soon as you put that on your CV and say, I've travelled to the UK, I've travelled to Germany, I've travelled to Ireland, I've been in Scotland, I've been all over America. If you can say that, who else is going to want, like, that's exactly what bookers are looking for. That's what promoters are looking for. We're looking for what makes you shine. And if you've worked in all these other places, they have seen something in you to bring you in. So, yeah,
and not only that, you got the name is just stretched so further, right? Because if you're just, and we talk about being complacent all the time, okay, especially in our locker room. Bobby's a big time, man. Do something with what you're getting, right? And make it work for you. And it's hard to find guys that want to step out. A lot of them are scared. So, and this is the reason why I'm saying Brian, in my eye right now, is one hell of a trainer. Okay, and I'm going to stand by that. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of guys will have that fear of, oh, what if I fail? And then you've got somebody like Brian going, okay, what if you fail? What happens if you fail? What are you doing next? Okay, let's make that happen. And man, that's the reason I'm just big on this international thing. Welcome in, everybody. We got people all across the board. Jason Maldonado just popped in. My guy right there, life goal for me, run a show on all 7 continents. That's my boy.
But Jason, this is the thing. We're well on our way to do that now.
Absolutely.
So that isn't a life goal. That is a realistic expectation for the next 3 years. So when Joey was asking what the next 3 years looks like, mate, that's what we're aiming for. That's what we're going to do.
Jason, oh my God. I was listening to y'all, but Jason, I want y'all to see this comment. Okay. I want all y'all to see this comment. This is how far this boy goes, right? He said, then I'm going to start looking at the Mars or the moon. I'm going to run a show, my God, on these continents, even if it's on another planet. That's my boy right there, boy. He's something else now.
Mate, I'm all in. As long as I can try some of that space food stuff, like, when you squeeze it out of the tube and it's floating around in the air, that's what I want to try. So if you want to head to the moon,
it would have to be
let's
Mars
go
for you.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I need heat. I do need
it. So Java says just wants to know, he said, as an organization trainer, talking to you, Brian, what is a key piece of advice you can give, an aspiring wrestler? What's a key piece of advice you can tell them?
Listen to everyone that you possibly can. Never stop learning, and absolutely leave your ego in your bag when you come to train. Just come there as a sponge, soak up as much as you can. Just absorb everything.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead, Lindsay. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I second that, especially the never stop learning. That's something that we try and preach all the time. We get guys that come across, and again, I'm sure you've seen it, where they think they know everything that is to know.
Yeah.
Never know everything, and one curveball can throw you off completely. So go in with the mindset of, today I'm going to find something else that I don't know, and then you go from there.
And Jason, you're completely right, brother. Listen, there's 100% truth in the process, man. And we talk about the process and format all the time of pro wrestling, and that's just proof right there that that's what you got to follow is the process and the format. Jason can tell you himself, man. As far as that goes, and we talk about old school wrestling here, on the podcast a lot. And we back that up, with guys like Jason and Bobby when they pop in. Brian, don't be afraid, man. If we're running one night and you're up because you can't sleep, brother, pop on, man. I got a spot for you on the Second Row podcast. Lindsey, same thing for you, sweetheart. Y'all just pop on, man. I got a spot for you. I don't care. Y'all are welcome to come in anytime that this podcast is running. If you want to run a special podcast through us, get with us. We can do that too. We can bring all of your guys on the podcast, introduce them, let them tell the world about themselves, man, and get their name out there just a little bit further. I'm not going to say that we're some kind of big time podcast. We're not. We're working our way toward that, just like everybody else, and we're willing to take those guys and put them out there and let them put their story out there and back it up with y'all sitting there by them. You know what I'm saying? Sleep, you supposed to get that in the business. Yeah, Jason, you're right, bud. I've seen it many a day, man, that Jason Maldonado's been sleepless, Hey, flying from one place to another, taking in a wrestling show, taking AJ, then flying from one place to another, doing a seminar or whatever. Jason stays busy, man. He's always on the go. What's up, Mark Medley? How you doing, my brother? One great referee right there. Y'all need this will be me. Mark, you should hit Lindsey up, man, and go to the UK, brother.
Yeah, definitely. When we've obviously got Bobby's bringing some guys across on the 27th of July. So we've got, I'm not too sure who he's got. We've definitely got Mr. Wobble, so Mr. Wobble's been announced. I would hope that we get to see Dante and Evelyn and Cece and AJ and the guys over again. But I want some new guys over here as well. So I want to see some new faces. I want to diversify things a little bit with the team coming across to the UK. Yeah.
Right, yeah, for most sure. Now, and we don't usually talk about WWE on here. We really don't. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this question out there because I've heard a lot of people talking about it. Right.
Ooh.
So I'm not sure who Jordan's asking, either Lindsey or Brian, but they're asking for their thoughts on Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Jordan?
I'm a Roman guy.
You are a Roman
100%. But I didn't trust The Rock.
You don't trust him?
Nah, I don't trust the way he's been going on.
No?
Nah. I think it's going to be a little...
Just gives off that 5, don't he, Brian? Just gives off that 5.
But he's funny, right? His ears, he can't go doing something like that, surely. Do you think?
Getting that ball job, honey.
He has gotten a ball job.
Well, here's my thought on it. Okay. So the Roman and Rock are going to beat Cody and Seth. Okay. On night 1. It's just going to happen. I mean, why would they not? And then build the big escalade of bloodline rules. Okay? Yeah, so that's my thought process on night 1. And on night 2, I'm gonna throw this out there. Cody finishes the story. I'm gonna say through all adversity of what the bloodline is gonna throw at that guy, Cody finishes the story.
Okay.
He said, okay. You don't believe it, do you?
Do you know what it is? Honestly, like when so backstage at Soulmania was just amazing. Like he's one of my favorite people now. Like Jason, well done for having him as your champion because he's fire. My guys were so stoked when he was like, "Oh, a family bro." And they all came running up and going, Lindsey, Jacob says that we're family. Like,
no, we're totally cool.
No.
Yeah, right. Yeah. My God, that's cool.
No, man.
Somebody says Roman Reigns is going to retain. Okay, Roman Reigns retains for sake of argument. I'll give you on that one. I will be watching this show on Peacock, by the way, night one and night two, just to prove my theory that, first night, Cody and Seth are going to get beat, bottom line. And the second night, through all adversity that's going to get thrown at him, Cody Rhodes is going to finish that story. Now, let's move forward, okay? Let's get back to what we're here for. Now, man, there's so many people popping comments. And I know my producer there he is in there right now, man, going crazy trying to get all the comments in. Now, I done got lost where we was at. Okay, all right, here. All right, and then I see Jack Foster talking about Jacob Fatu. Dude, Jacob Fatu he's a beast, man. But I'm not taking anything away from Jacob Fatu. I'm not going to take anything away. He is part of the bloodline. He's a beast, okay? But let me talk about my boy AJ for a minute. If you want to talk about a beast, I want to talk about that kid. If anybody's going to talk about anybody being a beast right now, let's talk about AJ, because what he threw at Jacob Fatu was unreal. This 17-year-old kid went out there and made it real, and took the fight to Jacob Fatu. When I say took the fight to him, that's exactly what I meant.
It was a phenomenal match. I was standing up at the back of that. So I was at the back beside the curtain, and I literally stood up and watched that whole match. Because where I was sitting, I had a good view line, but I was like, no, I want to be up and watching that. It was, yeah.
All our guys, we were all watching the monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of us watching that match, man, because, and we know it's Jacob Fatu, right? Okay, that's what everybody would say. Well, it's Jacob Fatu. What they were missing was the even bigger picture.
Yeah.
Okay, which was still AJ the Future. They were missing the bigger picture. And yes, Jacob Fatu is awesome. He's magnificent. But when you can take a 17-year-old kid, man, and throw him in there and make Jacob Fatu just look as good as he does, that's saying something. And that kid went out there and made Jacob Fatu look like $1 million, man. Yeah. And when I say beast, that's what I mean by beast. Yeah, fight me over it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we can't wait to have AJ back across the air as well. He has a phenomenal match with Thomas Griffin, with our CWA champ last time they were over. And yeah, he's such a lovely young guy as well. He's got his head screwed on the right way, and he's just a thoroughly lovely lad.
I just seen that comment.
That's what I was laughing at before. Jason, you're just jealous, right? That's what it is. You're just jealous.
Man, I'm sorry. Just as much as we try to be serious, y'all see how much fun we have here, especially when guys like Jason Maldonado pop on, because they're telling what you're going to see come out of him. I swear to God. And that includes his hair, brother. Have y'all seen the pictures of this guy? Oh, my God. We're talking about Jesus walking, okay? We're talking about Jesus walking, man. I swear it was something else. Now, when are y'all planning on trying to come back to the United States?
So we actually spoke to Bobby about that last night a little bit. So we will be returning this year. I'm not too sure exactly who's going to be coming over. I'll definitely be there. Yeah, I agree with that, Jason.
Yes. By all means.
Yeah, so we're hoping probably around about 5 months or so, or thereabouts. I'm going to be coming over with a little bit of a mission, actually. So I'll put it out there now about sponsorships. We never like to sit still, and we never want to sit in one place. So we are actively looking for sponsorship. And I will be reaching out to some local businesses in the Dallas area and hitting you guys up for some pennies to help with a project that I'm working on.
Go put your charm on them, sister, and get that.
Oh, yes. But when I
Don't put
come
your
across,
charm on her, just collect.
so yeah, when I come across next time, I'm coming over on a mission to get some sponsorship so that the OIWA can just eclipse everything else, and we're going to hit the ground running, and we want to take as many businesses on that journey with us. And if we're working internationally and we are getting our names out there, and our guys have got your company logo on our gear, on our promos, on our videos, all social media, like that is a huge thing. Get your business known internationally. So I'm coming over to Dallas on a mission, and you're gonna give us money.
Speaking of on a mission,
Yeah.
I want to throw this out there. Okay? It is time once again where WWE does their annually induction into the Hall of Fame. And I'm advocating right now for Men on a Mission.
Mm-hmm.
We know there's a lot of folks that follow us on social media, man. We usually range around 1,600 views per podcast that we do. And I'm sure some of those folks are going to reach out, or some of them may even be watching as far as WWE goes. I don't know what you guys are waiting on, especially where Nelson Frazier and Bobby Horn are concerned. They are an immense tag team that was full of knowledge, man, that carried y'all's titles. They put the company on their back. They were made the face of the company by the board of directors, pretty much. What are you guys waiting on? Put them in the Hall of Fame. Put them where they deserve, man, before they're both gone and neither one of them are able to enjoy it. We've done lost one. We don't want to lose the other. None of us want to lose the other because he's a book of knowledge. He's a book of knowledge that you guys installed in him when you were training. Now, with that being said, I'm saying this. Don't wait too long on Men on a Mission. Put them in the Hall of Fame. Thank you. That's where I stand with that, because that's well deserved, and that's how that goes. You know,
100%.
as far as all that goes.
Yeah.
Now,
100%.
Jason popped back. He said, in all seriousness, the kid makes me so proud to be his dad and one of his coaches. Jason, man, that just proves what you're doing is by his actions in the ring, man. Anybody would be proud of that, brother. Anybody would be proud of that. Time to see the youngster KT in the UK. Well,
Get him over here. Get him over here. Bring him with you.
Bring him with you. Listen to that. She's saying bring him. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about Preston showing out and becoming a new BNB breakout champion?
That was amazing.
Get to that.
Preston has my heart. So Preston came across to the UK last year, and he was just an absolute delight. He was such a lovely young man, and I love Preston. So when he won that title, I was jumping up and down. I was so ecstatic for him. He's just such a lovely, and he's just got a heart of gold.
It was great seeing the congratulations he got in the locker room when he came back. Everybody just piled on him.
Yeah.
Man,
So the big monitor, when you walk in the door to Dallas Elk Lodge, a big monitor that's up on the right there. So I was standing out there watching it on the monitor. And there were some people sitting down in the lobby, and they were trying to come through and all this other stuff. And Preston wins that title, and I was like, look at that kid go, man. He just beat that dude for the BNB title. He's brand new at this, man. These kids, all these people were rushed up to the monitor. And they were like, oh, my God, he did beat him. And then they rushed down there to either go in the door or get their ticket to go in the door. I'm like, y'all missing it. It's a wild show, man. Y'all missing it. You better get in there. You know, next thing you know, Dallas Elk Lodge was standing room only.
Yeah.
You couldn't find a seat nowhere.
Yeah, it was
slammed with people. My God. You talking about people just everywhere, man. That is so good for that to happen. You know, and Preston, I mean, hats off to the kid. He's the one busting his butt to get this done. and that's the repercussions of your actions, Preston. Let me say that, without breaking kayfabe, as we call it, that's the repercussions of your actions, my brother.
Mhm.
There you go. Now,
Yeah.
we're hoping to see you guys just not once, but more than once back in the U.S. And a bunch of us guys want to travel over and take care of things and come over and spend time with you guys and learn about your culture and stuff, man. And this has been just absolute a blessing for us today to have you guys come on. And not only for us, but for y'all to speak about the OIWA and everything that it does. Don't forget Thursday night, 7:05, OIWA worldwide. You can catch them on their YouTube channel. That's some great stuff right there, man. I'm talking about Trey Mack, man. You're doing an awesome job over there with the OIWA worldwide, dude. You need to keep just bugging that, man, because you're killing it over there with that. Would you say, Jason? Hang on here. What's that? See, busting his ass is the biggest understatement ever. From where he started to where he is simply incredible. Yeah. Yeah, Jason, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And that is absolutely true. 100%. That's that little meme that you see on Facebook, the kid holding his hand up there like that, and there's 100% sitting right here over his shoulder. That's how that is. Well, guys and girls, this has been a fantastic, fantabulous afternoon of podcasting, especially with these young people, man, from the UK, Miss Lindsey Jordan, Mr. Brian right there. Brian being the head trainer over at Contract Pro Wrestling at their academy. If you're in the UK and you're looking to become a pro wrestler, please reach out to these two right here. Get hooked up with a man. That guy right there, the one with the beard, the one that's got the, just looks like that guy. Yeah, that one right there. Yeah, that guy. Hey, heck of a man right there. Hell of a trainer. Hell of a wrestler. Y'all need to get over there and check him out. Lindsey, Brian, it's been an absolute blessing having you guys come in today, man. And we are ecstatic for you guys and your growth and to see where you're going and the big things that are going to be held up for you guys. We look forward to seeing y'all again. That's going to be a blessing as well. And hopefully it won't be before SolarMania 5. Hopefully we'll get to see you guys way before then several times just so we can sit around maybe, I don't know, maybe some Mexican or some, I don't know, tacos or something, different from you guys over there. I'm sure y'all come over here and y'all got food and y'all were like, where's this been all my life?
I've done so much weight. Victor Andrews, bless him.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Victor Andrews ended up having to send me a workout routine because I put on that much weight when I came to Texas. So yes, the food is incredible.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on with us today on this podcast. I know it's getting late there with y'all, so we're going to go ahead and cut out for the day, man, so y'all can get your afternoon and evening things together before y'all set in for the night. Loved having you guys here. Great guests on the Second Row podcast. And until we get to see this again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a professional wrestler, I encourage you to go to Credible Wrestling School and get trained by guys who actually get it, know what's going on, and have been trained by the guys who got it and knew what was going on to give that knowledge to you. And in the future, keep that in mind, especially if you're in the UK or over in Dallas or over in Sherwood, Arkansas, man. The OIWA is worldwide, as we do every Thursday night, 7:05. These guys are internationally, so are our guys. So hang out with us. We're going to be back around Thursday night. I have a special podcast lined out for you guys. It's not going to be one. It's going to be 2 podcasts in 2 hours with 2 different individuals.
Oh.
Thursday night at 6 o'clock, we have Dante Smiley back on the podcast. I want to talk to him about PCO because I'm telling you right now, I'll watch that man and PCO ever just beat the absolute hell out of one another. And that was one of the matches, man, that I had the privilege of being the official of. I'm just going to say, because that was an absolute barn burner. And right after that, we're going to have See You Out There, Kid, with Damian Wayne Costal right back here. Old school. Baby, this is what we do. We blow it out just like this. Until the second row comes back to your social media format and we come live to you again. Lindsey Jordan, Brian, I'm Rev Joy Lynn. Peace out, guys.